I'm Sean Allen. Welcome to Talk Local here on Rogers TV, brought to you in partnership by the Brant News. Tonight on the show, we've got actually 4 different segments lined up. A little bit later, we're talking with local artists and actually somebody who gives us a laugh every week in the Brant News with the cartoon there, Dave McCreary. He's got a show at the Arts Block. We'll talk to him about that. We're talking about the 30 Days of Progress tour for local businessmen going down to St. Lucia to help small business there. Fundraising effort underway for that. And another fundraiser, actually, is called 100 Women Brantford. Dr. Shaylin Osborne from Whole Body Health will be here to explain the concept here, which is new to Brantford. It's an idea that's been used elsewhere with great success for raising a lot of money for local charities. Starting off, though, with a guest we had on earlier this season, and it was great as far as the takeaway for homeowners, which a lot of you are. Jared Houliston from All Wildlife Removal with his tips and tricks for homeowners dealing with animals, really. You do a wildlife removal. The name says it all, Jared. And we want to talk about that. And you've got and I'll ask you some questions, and we'll get some tips and suggestions out there for homeowners. We'll do that in the second segment. So we'll actually mention that now because we are live tonight. If anybody wants to have any specific questions about wildlife removal, they can get a hold of us during this first segment. Jared will check his Facebook and Twitter during the break. It's to find you. It's allwildlife_CA.
Correct,
is the Twitter handle. And on Facebook, how do they get you?
Just look up All Wildlife Removal Inc. and we'll be there.
And we'll be able to find you there.
Yep.
So that's if you have any specific questions. We'll talk about some generic ones after the break and have some discussion. Jared will check his phone, though. If you've got those specific questions, we will get to them. But we also wanted to have you on here to talk about, and this sounds like fun. It's a new show here on Rogers, of all places, good television network. Called A Day on the Job, and I guess you're the trial run of this new show, eh?
I am. It's been an interesting few weeks having the boys follow me around at work, and I'd say they're probably having more interesting times than me, being the first-hand experience with raccoon removals, with babies, and coming face-to-face with wildlife.
So what's the concept of the show, and how did you get involved with this?
Well, actually, Patty contacted me, and they wanted a day on the job of a wildlife control technician. So I said, come on board. And so they've been following us around for about 3 to 4 weeks, getting different coverages from squirrel jobs to raccoon jobs, and now that we're in baby season, a lot more action, a lot more fun, and a lot more harder things that we have to do to get these little guys out.
So. Did you think your job was interesting enough to be followed around by cameras, or you knew that, didn't you?
Well, it's kind of funny because we're actually in the talks of having like a reality show being filmed with us too. So, and anybody that ever talks to me says, "Oh, I would love to come for a day on see what you do." It's not for everybody, but it's something that nobody really knows about until they have a problem. So then I tell them what we do and how we do it, and they're just fascinated by it. So we have had students, we've had camera crews, we've had even my friends and family have followed along for a day.
So, so how much filming was done for this? Is it like a little series, or just like one show? Or?
Well, it's been filming about 3 to 4 weeks of different parts of what we do. So, whether we're getting the animals out, or we're cleaning up, or doing the prevention. So, I'm not going to divulge too many details, but you got to watch the show. But it's there's some good laughing points. You'll laugh at me, but then there's some serious stuff aside, and us doing our job humanely, correctly, and for the benefit of the animals and the homeowner.
What was it like having people follow you? Do you do anything different, or did you have to try to make sure you were just doing what you normally do?
Well, we just do what we normally do, but it's not new to us. We've had ever since we started the business. There's been interest from other people wanting to come, whether it be newspapers and TV crews and news stations. So this is just one piece of the pie, and we love having them aboard.
I guess we did mention you can get a hold of Jared on Facebook and Twitter for any specific questions about wildlife removal. We'll talk about during the second half of the break. I guess I should also mention we are live. It's a call-in show as well. You can do that. 519-759-7711. Call after the break, and we'll get you on with Jared to if you have any questions. questions about wildlife removal. A day on the job. When does it airs? Starting the week of May 6th.
May 6th, yeah.
Right.
I guess the date has actually been scheduled yet, but it starts
Right.
May 6th. So there's a 30-minute segment all on us, and hope you enjoy it.
How did you, and you mentioned it briefly in there, but reality show, so is that an idea that came to you after doing this with Rogers, or is that something you've been
It was
thinking
actually
about?
before. We've actually been approached by a couple people, but so now we've got some film crews that followed us last summer, and again, will start following us again soon this year in baby season, and it's being pitched right now. I can't really say where, and once we have confirmation, then we'll let the cat out of the bag, as they speak.
For sure. Cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
The as far as the taking things from a reality point of view, we can't really mention, like you said, specific stories from the Day on the Job show or what might show up there, but you've got all kinds of funny stories. Like, what's an example of one that wasn't captured by the camera?
An early on one was actually, we had an owl fly into a net, and we were called, and I had to cut the owl. It was a gray horned owl, not quite fully grown, but about a 6-foot wingspan. But while I was cutting him out, I was holding him, and he decided he wanted to clench down on some sensitive parts on a male that I was actually sitting down. So I had to stand up really quick so he wouldn't get me, and the photographer was right there and took a shot. Well, it made the front page of the newspaper with me hanging with, or me sitting there with a great horned owl hanging from a sensitive area. So I'd say that's one of the most notorious ones I get laughs about and everybody talks about. And the headline actually was, because my last name's Houliston, Houliston, we have a problem, and it was a problem. But I got him off, and he was set free, but it was a good story.
That's pretty good. Give me another example.
I don't know. I guess a good one would be about 3 or 4 years ago. I was in an attic with a raccoon, and she had babies. And normally we get tested by the mama raccoon, but this one was relatively vicious. But we had to do our job. So protective clothing, protective gloves. I go in there, and I'm actually crawling, so I'm eye to eye with the raccoon, and I can't move anywhere. She ended up coming, attacking me, got my hands, got my face, crawled over my back and bit the back part. But I actually ended up grabbing her and holding her and actually escorted her out. But that was one of the more scary ones. And animals are unpredictable, although we can predict 90% of the time what's going to happen after dealing with them so long. But you get those one cases where you never know what's going to happen. Getting sprayed by skunks, it's not one we enjoy, but it happens on the job. But everybody laughs at me, but it happens.
And that's I guess that's why it would make such amusing television. Oh, is that one of your skunk friends we've got up there right now?
Yeah, that was an interesting call. Yeah, I went to that one and I was sprayed by that one.
We've got to take a quick break, but again, Jared is here. We're going to talk some tips for wildlife removal. If you've got a specific question, we gave out the Facebook and Twitter. You can find him on All Wildlife Removal, allwildlife_CA, or call us 519-759-7711. That's here on Talk Local after the break. I'm Sean Allen. Welcome back to Talk Local here on Rogers TV, brought to you in partnership by the Brant News. Jam-packed show tonight. We're talking with cartoonist and artist Dave McCreary about his, he's got a show right now at the Arts Block. We'll also talk a bit about his Brant News cartoons that give us a laugh every week. A little bit later on, talking about 2 different fundraisers going on in Brantford, 30 Days of Progress Tour and the 100 Women Brantford Causes. We'll explain a little bit more about that later in the show. Right now, Jared Houliston here from All Wildlife Removal. We've been having a chat about your Day on the Job show, which will start airing here on Rogers on May 6th. But and I mean, we had you on here earlier. Maybe it was your appearance here on Talk Local that got you famous enough to get your own spin-off show.
Yeah, I was getting autographs when I was walking out of here.
But you did. And last time you were on, we were just talking tips and tricks, for homeowners and stuff like that, and suggestions. And the timing's good again because it's baby season, and so you've got all your mammals out there.
Giving birth.
Birth and getting a spot most often in people's houses, right?
Right. It's mostly attics and chimneys right now with squirrels and raccoons. Now, I guess you could say a lot of people don't know they have the problem until babies are born, the animals are walking on the insulation, or they hear that odd sound and kind of put it off as something's crawling on the roof or a bird on the roof. If they do hear scratching in the attic or stuff like that, I suggest they call a professional right away. The amount of damage that animals do in the attic is not just structurally with chewing of trusses and wires, but also their defecation and urination can be a health risk to the homeowner. So the longer you have them in there, the more expensive it will be to get them out, because there's more of a cleanup effort that needs to be done, and that's stuff that we do. So after we've gotten the animal out, we got to go in and clean all the insulation up in the attic. So I always tell people, if you do have that problem, or you see a problem, or you hear something, take care of it sooner rather than later.
So it's so right now it's like we said, mammal season. You mentioned some of the signs, like just scratching and stuff like that. How do people know they're not overreacting when they call you? What's the level of what should they be looking for to make sure they're calling a professional first?
Well, first off, if they hear scratching in the attic, or they hear actually any sounds in the attic, they should be doing a visual inspection of the home and see if they actually see anything. The next step, I would say, would be calling a professional to actually narrow it down what they have, and then they can tell what the actual next process will be to evict them from the house. A lot of homeowners actually put it off at, there's no big deal, we don't need to worry about it, it's just a squirrel up there, it's just a mouse up there. But to kind of give you a perspective, mice breed about 3 to 5 times a year with 3 to 5 babies per litter. So one little or 2 little mice, at the beginning of the year becomes a very big problem within a year.
So that's a squirrel we got up there right now, right?
Squirrel babies, yeah, squirrel babies. That's from actually last year, but yeah, those are squirrel babies. They're only a week or so old. And there's us removing some. That's the squirrel. Yeah, he decided to take a chomp out of my finger. Yeah.
So that one was in a chimney. How do you get them out?
I can't give you all my secrets, no, it's a combination of we have special tools that go down the flue line that will help mama get out of the chimney. But when they're squirrels and they're on the bottom of the chimney, typically speaking, they can't climb up. So basically, we just go in from underneath. We corner them in there. We just gently grab them, and they're not so gentle to us, but we gently grab them, and then basically we just walk outside the house and let them go freely right on the spot.
Well, and I mean that's I wanted to get that question in, the humane part of what you do. Why is that so important to you?
First off, I'm an animal lover, and I don't want to hurt any animal. But second, it's the law. You're not allowed to trap and relocate wildlife. You're not allowed to kill wildlife. But the way we do it ensures that the humane aspect prolongs the life of the critters. Some companies out there actually trap the animal and remove it and take it away. Well, if you're doing it at this time of year, you're actually taking the mama away from the babies, and the babies are left there to die. So how humane is that? And besides, against the law. But there are companies out there that do that. There's a few of us in the industry that want to get this industry licensed. We want to get it tested, so we weed out the fly-by-nighters that are giving some other names in this company or in this industry a bad name.
So how do you, so for example, with baby season, you try to relocate them nearby?
And we actually relocate them right on site, and we actually don't do it. The mother animal does it. So we remove the animals, we put them in a little baby box, and then from there we put them up on the roof, and that box has a baby pad in it that actually heats up. That keeps them nice and warm during the cool nights. We'll leave after we've done all our work, and Mum will actually come back to that box, grab the babies one by one, and then relocate them herself throughout the night. So we let her do all the hard work. We just get them out and reunite them outside.
Hopefully not back in the house again, though.
Well, they don't, because we've done our work by securing roof vents and securing the house, so therefore we know they can't get back in.
Are there different places to look for different animals, raccoons, squirrels, skunks, possums?
Yeah, typically raccoon, squirrels are going to be in your attic, where possums and skunks are going to be ground dwellers underneath decks and sheds, although raccoons will live underneath sheds too. But if you're seeing little holes going underneath your shed or deck, or you have that smell of skunk, take a look around your property. Odds are you're going to have a critter somewhere close by living.
What's the level of approach on a skunk, and how much should it be avoided in order not to get sprayed?
Well, believe it or not, raccoons don't see very well. They actually can only see about 3 meters in front of them, and kind of like a tunnel vision. So the best thing you can do is not yell and scream, but actually stomp your feet. They actually can sense the vibrations into the ground, and if you stay still and they sense you at the last minute because you're scared, you're more apt to get sprayed rather than just clapping your hands, stomping your feet, and making a little bit of noise, let the skunk know that you're there. He should just look around, turn around the other way, and walk away. And that'll save you from a good tomato juice bath later.
How many of those have you had?
Well, actually, I don't ever use tomato bath juice bath, but basically it's closing in the washing machine about 3 or 4 times, and then you're taking a couple showers, but that's about it.
I mean, Brantford does have a lot of older homes and everything. How much of a problem is this in town? Do you get a lot of calls?
Oh yeah. It's in Brantford alone. Like we have a dedicated crew that just works in Brantford.
Just in Brantford. Okay.
Just in Brantford, and then we have a crew in Toronto. We have a crew in Barrie, Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton, Niagara. So there's a problem in every city. So yes, people are thinking, is there that much wildlife problems? Well, people don't really know about it because they've never had the problem. But yes, we work 365 days a year. There's no off season with us. If you have a problem in the middle of the winter, you want it out. So we work year round.
For sure. So again, Jared, people can connect with you on if they need anything. Facebook or Twitter is a good way to get a hold of you. You're very connected, and they can get you there. And we can also look for A Day on the Job, which little series following you on doing your thing, airing the week of May 6th right here on Rogers TV. So again, thanks again for your time, Jared.
Thanks for having me.
Always a good time, and we'll see you again.
All right, thanks.
We'll be back here on Talk Local.